all you wiretappers out there. This is going to start a multi-part series, a tour of mob sites in the Midwest. First, I'm going to do a dry run up to Omaha and come back. And then my good friend, Kate Kozel, retired K-9 Sergeant from Kansas City Police Department, and myself are going to go to Des Moines and then to Chicago and do a bunch of mob sites and maybe even on up to Milwaukee. We're going to do a tour of Midwest mob sites. The two of us did a tour of Bonnie and Clyde sites a couple of years ago, and then I got interrupted by the COVID. So I'm back at it now, planning on doing a tour of New Orleans and Hot Springs mob sites next spring, I hope, March or April. So settle back and be entertained by a tour of mob sites where the action really happened. Okay, wiretappers. Kate and I are on our way. I want you to notice Kate's new Royal Enfield and my new Kawasaki RS 950. So we are, that's our commercial for Royal Enfield and Kawasaki. Hey, you guys, if you hear that, give us some money.
Lots of money. I love the bike though. It's much better than my old one.
Much better than the
Yamaha YZF. Yeah.
Anyhow, so we're on our way, leaving from Kansas City. We're on our way to Des Moines. As you know by now, I already did a little dry run up to Omaha. We'll talk about Louis Fratto at Des Moines when we get there. So the next time you hear from us, we'll be in Des Moines. Folks, here we are, Des Moines, Iowa. This is 712 East Grand. The Sports Arcade was here, and Louis Fratto, or Louis Ferrell as he was known in down here in Des Moines, but Louis Fratto was an outfit mobster who was brought down here probably right during the war. He came down here. Charlie Red-Nosed Gioe ran this, all the gambling in Des Moines, and then he went to the penitentiary for the big Hollywood scam, the extortion scam that Louis Campagna and Johnny Rosselli and oh God, all of a sudden I forgot the other guy's name, but several of them went to jail for that, and then Gioe went to jail and he turned it over to Fratto. As you can see, it's an old school building here close to downtown. Fratto was an interesting guy. He was actually a deep throat source for the FBI for a long time. But he ran all the gambling in all of Illinois, all the way over to Council Bluffs. So it comes too fast and too furious here. I'm going to stop a minute. Oh, he's going to have to stop for the light, and we'll stop again in a minute. I have to edit. I hate editing these. There you go. Folks, you should have seen that guy. He was like a twink with an old raggedy-ass car. Wasn't he, Kate? He was like a twink with an old raggedy-ass car, wasn't he?
Yeah, his hood said Twinkie.
Well, did it really?
Yeah,
I didn't see that. Well, that's Des Moines for you, folks. So, anyhow, it's been a long, hard day. I'm having a hard time thinking all the stuff I know about Louis Fratto. I'll probably I'll add a little bit. The audio might be a little bit different. We need to go find a hotel. We're worn out. I screwed up and went about 25 miles past Des Moines. Kate's shaking her head. We're about 25 miles past Des Moines, and I just kept thinking, well, where's the city? And I'd see a grain elevator, and I'd say, oh, there, no, that's a grain elevator. and all of a sudden I realized we were going on out of town. We were not.
Oh, yeah.
And we stopped and started looking, and a guy stopped by and started laughing. I said, oh, it's about a 20-minute drive back the other way. So he got us here, and we got to the Sports Arcade building at 712 East Grand. And So, and I'll fill in a little more about Louis Fratto. Cockeyed Louis Fratto. I guess they called him cockeyed because he had a eye was slightly off. We had a guy named Nick Spiro here in Kansas City that had a cockeye. He learned the craft of being a mobster in Chicago from his outfit counterparts and came down here, as I said before, because Charlie Red-Nosed Gioe had gone to the penitentiary. He knew when he got to Des Moines he needed to cozy up to the police officers, the judges, and the lawyers, and other government officials. That's when he changed his name to Louis Ferrell, more of an Americanized name. He got a distributorship for the old Capone beer label, Canadian Ace Beer. A lot of local officials resisted this license at first, but he had enough in his pocket, he was able to overcome that. He used police department contacts to get pistol permits for himself and anybody that he wanted to have that worked for him to have a pistol. 1948, right after the war, state law enforcement agents came in and raided his club and arrested Fratto and two associates from Chicago. But a judge owned by Fratto, a man named Edwin Moore, dismissed all the charges. And Judge Moore will end up going on being an Iowa Supreme Court judge. Now, after Cherry Nose Gioe got out of penitentiary from the Hollywood extortion scam, he was trying to regain some of his rackets. One of Fratto's Jewish associates named Jaime Wiseman had been arrested at the Sports Arcade here, and Wiseman was seen entering the car with Gioe, and that was the last time they ever saw Red-Nosed Gioe alive. It's really suspected that Fratto's the one that orchestrated that hit.